Topeka is Topeka. It's kind of special. It definitely has the most slightly crazy people in it that I ever met. A lot of people there feel like they're isolated from the rest of Kansas. People in Topeka tend to actually care about like state politics because it's the capital, and they'll go off about such and such that the governor did or some new law, and you won't hear about that anywhere else in Kansas but in Topeka, because everyone else is just like, small towns, farms, it doesn't like affect them as much. But like in Topeka, they were like, politics. And so that was like really interesting. Topeka was a little bit more of a refining fire for me. It was very challenging. I struggled the most there. There was just things about like the work and just personal trials that I was going through that was very refining for me, in the fact that I came to really know the Savior, and I came to really understand how much He lifts us and can strengthen us if we really ask. There were countless days that the only reason we were able to even get out of the apartment was because we used the atonement through prayer to just help us get just outside the door, just down the street. And so that was really important for me to learn. Our area was also kind of special. We didn't actually live in our area because the ward that we covered, like Shawnee, was kind of more the outer like edge. It was like the eastern edge of Wichita, so it included like a nicer suburb to come see, as well as one of the larger ghettos, which was really fun, Oakland, and then Montara, which is very interesting. It used to be military housing, and then it got turned into like lower income housing. And so there was like these like three like isolated areas, all of which were about between 3 to 5 miles from our apartment, which was not in our area. And so we did a lot of driving, and we had to be really good at planning where we were going, because if you decided to spend the day in Montara, you didn't really have the miles to go up to Oakland and then back to Montara. So that was definitely a unique feature about being in Topeka. But it was very cool being able to be near like the capital and be able to kind of see, like, it was a very pretty city. More influence too as far as like Kansas City, because people went to Kansas City a lot more, which was really neat to be able to have the experience of being able to like share more about the temple, because people actually were more likely to know what you were talking about. It's like, oh yeah, we saw that when we drove to Kansas City a couple weeks ago and things like that. So that was really neat. I know that Topeka is smaller than Wichita. It's at least half the size, but it's still a considerable size city, I guess, for the Midwest, but it's definitely on the smaller side. Something that was memorable was there was a day that my companion was very, very determined that we were going to hit our goal for talking to people, and we were in Oakland, and it was late at night. It was January, February, so it was about like 9 at night, so it had been dark for hours, and our appointment had fallen through. She's like, all right, well, we're just going to start talking to people. We're just going to go knocking on doors. And I'm like, sister, we're in Oakland. This is not a place that we can just go walk around. She's like, we're going to see a miracle. We're going to start knocking on some doors. And I remember just like following after her, like looking at the ground, thinking, I'm going to die. I'm going to get shot. I'm going to trip and fall on these sidewalks. They're not straight. We're going to die. But it ended up turning out just fine. We found a new investigator. We also ran into some less actives that we hadn't seen in a while and stuff, but it was just a slightly terrifying moment, probably one of the scariest moments of my mission, actually, because I was very positive that I was not going to make it home that night, just because it was slightly crazy.